Okay, we're doing a set review. This time we have chat with me, at least on screen. Um, we're just gonna look at each one, see how they are for Eternal, and we'll go into it. We're live from Monday to Saturday from 2 to 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And let's get into it. We have Aggro the Freezing Flame, a 3 mana, 3/3 uncommon. Whenever a creature or planeswalker an opponent controls dealt excess damage, if a giant, wizard, or spell you control dealt damage to this turn, draw a card. There's a lot. I don't. It's a wizard, so maybe Pioneer, but the way it works is like if you trample, essentially, you get to draw a card. So it's really, really good with the Stomp Giant. And so this is it's an okay card. I don't think it's that great, but Alpine Meadow. Okay, I go back and forth. I think these will see play. I think they'll see play because of snow, because of wild call is the only reason why. Because like turn one with Astrolabe gone, you just hold a bolt essentially. So I think there's a small chance these could see play for needing to hit. It could bring back snow strategies, and it could allow you to play Dead of Winter. Yeah, being fetchable is a huge, 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 huge plus. So you play one of, and you just fetch a turn one, and you don't have to worry about it. Like, sure, you could get a Triumph, but if you're really basing around the snow idea, I'm my ideology of like, no, everything has to come into play or untapped. Everything has to be fast. I like am wary of because like back when I thought Yorion was unplayable because it was 80 cards. I was like, no, no way I ever see this play, and then ended up being completely broken. So I'm open to this being able to be played to enable snow strategies because there are strong snow cards. Alrun, God of Cosmos. 5 mana. Alrun gets +1/+1 for each card in your hand and each foretold card you own in exile. If you need your end step, choose a card type, then reveal the top 2 cards of your library. Put all the cards of the chosen type in your hand, or it's not bottom of your library. For modern, it's too slow. I think the flip side. Okay. Oh no, we don't have the flip side. The flip side will be later. That's one thing with these flip cards is like it's. I had to have them back to back, which I didn't. So it's my bad. I think because of it might. We'll have to see when we see the front side. I'll let you know when we get to it. But the back side is like so. But it's meant to be like if the bird's not usable anymore, then the back this side is. I don't. It's hard to. They're hard to gauge because these cards can be played if the backside is a high CMC like Tybalt and you have the 2 mana in front. It makes it very interesting because you can play it in non-traditional ways, such as like Electro Bounce or cascading into it and playing something bigger. Alrun's Epiphany. Create 2/1/1 bird creature tokens with flying. Take an extra turn after this one. So if you foretell, which is you pay 2, put into exile, leave it for later. Um, it's a 6 mana time walk that makes 2/1/1 birds. I or it's 7 if you don't. So most likely not. What is the wording on Fire's Invention? Actually, I can't remember. If Fire. I think Fire's makes it say it have to be from hand. Yeah, it's too much mana for way too little. You can cast any spell during your turn. You can cast no more than 2 spells each turn. You may cast. Okay, so Foretell can be cast with a Fire, so that is good to know. But the CMC is still too high, so that's another weird thing. Oh yeah. Also, if you ephemerate the birdie, it'll flip and make the 5 mana god. So that's another thing to consider. Same thing on the Snowlands we already went through. Arnie Broken Brow. Haste 3/3 for 3 mana. Pretty good stats. Boast. You may change Arnie Broken Brow's power to 1, plus the greatest power among other creatures you control until the end of turn. Okay, so Pioneer is where I could see this, but I don't think it's touching modern. The Human Berserker doesn't fit a role, but Yeah, he's always broken. It's in his name. It is an interesting card, but I don't think it's escaping historic and pioneer. It just doesn't fit the right things. But who knows? Maybe for pioneer, humans could be more playable. Bose is just, I don't know. Bose is weird. Ascendant Spirit, another one of the cycles of like level ups. We have a 2/3 for 2, or a 1 mana 1/1, then it pumps up turn 2 to 2/3. So if you just only pump into it, you have a turn 3 4/4 with flying, and then after that, put 2 counters on it and gain whenever this creature deals damage to a player, draw a card. You have to pump everything into, and you have to have snow mana. I mean, like, yeah, it's too much investment because it just everything just dies. Everything just died to a fatal push. So I'm not. It's too much investment for not enough gain. Is my issue with it. Yeah, I can make this bigger. Let's do Doomblade next. There, is that better, you guys? Oh yeah, you just play Hex Shrinker too. Oh, then they're finished in Flip Cycle, which is really great. I really like those for Pioneer. Battle for Bretagard. Create a 1/1 human creature token. Create a 1/1 elf. Choose any number of artifact tokens or creature tokens you control different names for each of them. Create a token that's a copy of it. There was some green-white token decks going around in Pioneer, so I could see this maybe being a one of, but besides that, I don't see it escaping. I think Historic also has dinky token decks, so this is like a perfect card for that. But to get just a 2 power and then open to copy to maybe get 4 power is pretty bad. Okay, this card's not that great. Whenever a creature you control becomes target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, you may draw a card. So you play a turn 4, but it just like it trades down with the 3 mana 5/5, whatever the stupid beast is. It's just too slow. Did you shower for us? What the freak? Shower every day. Yeah, and also it's way worse than Elder Gargothodon. Like that one at least draws you a card in trades. Battle of Frost and Fire deals 4 damage to each non-giant creature and planeswalker. Scry 3. Whenever you cast a spell with CMC cost 5 or greater this turn, draw 2 cards in Scry. That like this card's pretty decent. Shower Chase. But think of this card, but think of Yorion. Think of when pre-nerfed Yorion that they wanted this to be with fires and Yorion in this. So I think this card would have been nuts, like Pioneer level worthy. I think it still can be just because of the fires decks. They wouldn't mind a board wipe that like pairs really well with Yorion. I can't remember what I was saying, but yeah, but it's an okay card. Bind the Monster. Okay, this card's nuts. It's Dismember, kind of. You tap target creature, doesn't untap, and you lose equal to its power. This card, yeah, should feel it. I mean, like, you're going to destroy yourself in limited, but it's like still a really good card. It's going to be bonkers in Pauper, that's for sure. Those dinky blue devotion decks. Grixis Shadow. I don't think you want to do Grixis Shadow because I think it's better to actually like remove the creatures and instant speed, and there's just so much efficient removal. So it's hard to see if like where this comes in, but it's still a very strong card. Mono blue, yeah. If you want to do mono blue Delver modern, sure, this would be perfect. But it doesn't flip the Delver's issue. Pretty good against Earl. That is true. It is. I mean, you take 6. Burgi, God of Storytelling, 3 mana. Until whenever you cast spell, add red. Until end of turn, you don't lose this mana. As what? Troll can boast twice during each of your turns rather than once. What's flip side do? Whenever you cast spell, add red. Huh. That's a very interesting effect. I'm like, all my mind's thinking about is Storm. I don't. It's like yeah, it's like a weird election. It's just the problem is it's 3 mana. Like if it was 2, sure, but because it's 3, how does this work with Chain Lightning? You cast Chain Lightning, you get a red mana. If you copy it, you don't get any more. That's it. No, copies is all one thing. So it's like copy, 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 but you don't get the extra mana for it. I'm pretty sure. If it was 2 mana, I would be talking because it's too much. Distribute X1 encounters, bung, blah, blah, blah. Okay, it's awful. The flip cards, good finish cycle. Yeah, you target yourself a bunch of times with Chain Lightning. 6 mana destroy all creatures, destroy all planeswalkers, then return CMC X or less, or X is the snowman. Okay, it's just too slow. It's pretty cool, but just too slow. Putting 2 cards, where they go? One to your hand, one to the graveyard. It's too slow for Eternal, but it's a bonkers card. No PTQ? No PTQ. If a giant source you control would deal damage to a permanent or player, it deals double that damage to that permanent or player instead. These cards like most of them just like cost too much. And so like if it was 3 mana, like sure, like maybe you'd play it, but 4 just like no, it's just like there's so many better things to be doing. New elf, like here, if this was 3 mana, maybe, but because it's 4, it's just there's better things than this to be doing than to try and run this. Cleaving Reaper, flying trample. Oh, pay 3, return cleaver from your graveyard to your hand. Active ability only if you had an angel berserker into the battlefield on your turn. The cost is too high again. Like it's cool, but like it's a very strong card, but it's so slow for these eternal formats. Colossal Plow. Okay, crit. When do we get to the good cards? It's garbage. That's what I was telling you. Oh, I think this card is interesting. It's the new Smuggler's Copter. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may exile Kazima. If you do, gain whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control. If Kazima is exiled, you may put a Voyage counter on it. If you don't, return Kazima to the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it and draw X where X number of cards as a Voyage counter on it. So I think it's really good with in like blue-white control decks. I don't know if like modern playable, but I think definitely Pioneer. But it's something you could run for fun in modern. And then the flip side, yeah, I'll let you know when we get the flip side. Like that sucks. I'm sorry I didn't put. They're not in order. I forgot about that. How the performance stays this direction. I mean, sure, but we're still stuck with Uro and Field of Death. Like things just don't change. Like the problem is that everything just doesn't change and the formats stay horrible. Flash flying 3/3. Foretelling cards from your hand costs 1 less and can be done on any player's turn. So it costs 1 mana to foretell, or yeah. It's at the beginning of your end step, draw a card. If the life total is greater than your starting life total, otherwise you gain 2 life. That's a lot. All these things are just like too slow and like pretty garbage. Choose creature type. Creatures that aren't controlled get -3/-3 until turns. There's just you have damnation. Like there's just better things to be doing than these stuff. Like if you're elves, like that's the only reason you just do this and do elves. Best white card in the set. What? When Cyclone Summoner enters the battlefield, if you cast it from your hand, return all permanents to their owner hands except for giants, wizards, and lands. It's just like yeah, like too high of a cost. This one, I like this card. This one's interesting. Doomscar is great. Like, and you're not doing much stuff on turn 2 anyways, so you tuck it. A 3 mana Wrath is actually pretty relevant. So I like what they did here for investing in the feature for it. So yeah, I think this card is very good. Too slow for modern, but Pioneer, like again, the format no one cares about, I think it'd be very well. Dragon Berserker. First strike, 2/2. Oh wow, pretty good. Both abilities you activate cost one less to activate for each dragon you control. Both create a 5/5 red dragon token with flying. This card's sweet, but I was gonna say humans, but then like humans, you just have ancient Ziggurat and stuff you can't do. But it is like pretty cool late game. Like a 2/2 first strike is very strong. And then randomly getting Earl or randomly getting a dragon. The issue is like they have to, all these cards have to be better than like in an Earl world. If a non-token creature an opponent controls would die, exile that card with an ice counter on it instead. You may cast spells from among cards in exile your opponents own with ice counters on them, and you may spend mana from snow sources though, or mana of any color source. A zombie cleric. It's probably like again too slow because it's a vanilla 4/4, but only deck I think it was like Pioneer Mono Black. Yeah, like Commander is pretty cool, but that's it. Change of Hour, each non-land you control costs 2. You can foretell for 2. Where this card is interesting, but like where does he play? Like you can discount your spells for later, which is actually really cool. I'm trying to think of like what where you put it. Also, you're stuck like for telling cards like taking a turn off, but it's an interesting card, but I don't think will work for Eternal formats. But it's like it's very interesting that you can like discount your cards for a later turn. Egon, another interesting card. 6/6 Death Touch for 3. At the beginning of your upkeep, exile 2 cards from your graveyard. If you can't, sacrifice Egon and draw a card. So this card is like the stats are so pushed on it that it might be able to be played in a like certain decks because when it if you can't just replace itself, but oh, the demon with See the Truth. That's pretty funny. Yeah, Egon is sadly the best card we've seen so far, and it's like okay. The fifth copy, yeah, you literally just play another. This is your fifth copy of Riding Regisaur. Elvish Warmaster. Whenever one or more elves enter the battlefield under your control, create a 1/1 green elf creature token. This ability only triggers once each turn. Wow, that sucks. Pay 7, gain Death Touch. Outside of Egon, we'll get there. Outside of I didn't put them in orders. Sorry, like I took all 150 images and put them in, and I forgot. Yeah, so like this could be a fun one of like it's. I actually like it a lot for elves. You have so much mana, and like just making those 1/1s actually could be very relevant, and it's not legendary. So this one, I'm actually for like boosting up what cards are needed for Pioneer elves. I'm liking it a lot. And then like modern, I would play this as a 1/of. Like why not? In like the warrior variation. So yeah, I like this card. Eradicator Valkyrie. Yeah, and they stack well. So if you have multiple, getting like it works in multiples is a big thing. So you can play 4 or 1, doesn't matter. Flying Lifelink Hexproof from Walkers. What's up, DJ? Boast, sack a creature. Each opponent sacrifices a creature planeswalker. Flying Lifelink Hexproof from Planeswalkers. It's a ball limited card. It has a lot, but it dies to bolt. 3 mana. Oh, I love this card. This card is awesome. I'll just like throw it into Mizzet for some fun. Throw it in Yorion Mizzet. 3 mana Dork. Other legendary creatures have vigilance and add 1 mana. The flip side is a 5 mana enchantment, which lets you flip the top of your library till you hit a creature. You can't take it with Niv. I don't care about taking it with Niv. I care about like bring to light into it and then put my 5 mana enchantment on the field. That's what I care about. Esika's Chariot. 4 mana, create 2 kitties, 4/4 when it copies, create a token. I think this is a really good card for like Pioneer for those copy as we are talking about the token decks earlier. Can you bring to light the backside of cards? Yes. So for Tibalt, bring to light into Tibalt, put Tibalt down. That's what I'm talking about. Faceless Haven, another very cool card. 4/3. Oh, it has Vigilance too? I don't know where we put this, but it's a strong card, but being able to activate it is the issue. Like in those mono red Scred decks, maybe those garbage decks. Fear Judge of Valor. 5 mana. Why the F did Austin put this in? Flying Lifelink. Whenever you cast second spell, you turn like the top 3 cards of the library, put them in your hand, the rest in the graveyard. It's so expensive. I think you think Phaedra Judge of Valor will see play? Where? I don't think you can see the back half of cards while doing a search. When you go to cast it, you can cast the backside. Four mana. This card will see play. This card is pushed. This card is bonkers with Yorion. I don't know about modern, but 100% Pioneer in the stacks. Like this card is insane. 4 mana, 4/4 Angel. Okay, off to the races. And then tap, destroy target creature with less power. Awesome. And then give your angels double strike. And then you just like Yorion flicker it, make an angel. Like, oh, this card's great. Finn the Fang Bear. Death Touch. Whenever a creature you control with Death Touch deals damage to player, that player gets 2 poison counters. Sure. At least it's not infect, I guess. Yeah, you can do mono green control. It's like something you can do, I guess. Glacial Floodplain. That dude is infect. Yeah, they brought back infect. Flash Flying. When Glorious Protector enters the battlefield, you may exile a number of non-angel creatures. Shell. I like this card a lot actually for like the dinky Vanifar decks, dinky Kiki Cord decks. I think this card could see play. It's like a pseudo 3 mana flash Selfless Spirit in a way. So I'm a big fan of this card. I think it could see play. I'm like pretty sure Caruso will be playing this. I'd put money Caruso will be throwing this in his Kiki Cord deck. Goldspan in Kiki deck is kind of nombo. It's not about. It's not. Well, yes, like it. Like it's more. It's yeah, saving you from a wrath. Right. Enters the battlefield, may exile a number of non-angel creatures you control until glacial. Yeah, flash in, everything exiles, and then it dies. Bring back your creatures, and then you're off the races. Because against control, they're trying to like tap out, play with wrath, then you like flash us in, and then they're screwed. Whenever Goldspan dragon attacks or becomes target of a spell. Oh, it also does go on Soulholder quite nice. Yeah, that is pretty good too. Whenever Goldspan dragon attacks or becomes target of a spell, create a creature token. Creature's token sack at 2 mana. It's probably too slow. Like you gotta think of like Storm Breath, like Badly Seas play. This is a kind of equivalent to that. Like at Rafty, but like Rafty in a well. Like this is your end game. It does have haste. Graven Lore. Scry X, where X is the number spent to draw 3 cards. I thought it was gonna be like just Scry X. That's it. I was like, really? Huh. Instant draw 3/5 mana. I mean, you're playing Snow anyways. Maybe. Is there any other 5 mana draw 3s at instant speed? Like honestly, there's so much mana in the Uro Urion decks, and you have Snow anyway. Jason Ingenuity, plenty. Okay, well maybe not then. Rue my day. Oh, this is the other flip of the bird we were talking about earlier. Of the 5 mana god that gets like X counters equals to the cards in hand or something like that. Whenever Haka Whispering Raven deals combat damage to a player, return to its owner hand and scry 2. Okay, that doesn't seem as great. But if you ephemerate it, you can get the God side, which also isn't that great. But it's a pretty cool card. Piece of Confluence draws cards, but it's only legal in Legacy. 4 mana, creature you control are enchanted or equipped have double strike. At the end of each combat, you may attach or equipment attached to a creature you control to target creature you don't control. It's just too slow. It's like so. Mistake Confluence is cheat. Herald, King of Skembar. Elf Warrior. Ooh, I like Elf Warriors. When it enters the battlefield, look at the top 5 cards of the library. You may reveal an Elf Warrior or Tivvar? What the freak? Put the rest on the bottom of your library in random order. This actually goes well in the Elf deck. It could just be a +2. Why not put it as a 1-of, you know? Unite the Elves. Mill 3 cards. You may put an Elf or Tivvar from your graveyard into the battlefield. Wait, what? You may put an Elf or Tivvar card from your graveyard on the battlefield? Oh, Tivvar's a Planeswalker. Oh, okay. It's a 4 mana reanimate. Okay, what else to do? Put a plus on each elf. In each elf you control. Number 3, whenever an elf you control attacks this turn, entire creature an opponent controls gets -1/1. You know, like, I know it seems like it costs more, but it's elf, so it doesn't cost that much. And like the way I'm seeing this is like they kill your 3-drop, right? And then like you play this as a 1-of, they kill the different 3-drops you're playing, and you can get it back, which is huge. And then like it being an anthem is also huge. And the third one is like you get to swing in and murder their board and have efficient attacks. I like this card. I like this card quite a bit, actually. I like that it's a reanimate too. My goodness. Discard a card. Oh, this is the flip of the god that creates mana. Exile top 2 cards of the library and play cards. Huh. This flip side is like why I'd be like, you know what, Storm. I'd like this in Storm, kind of. Like kind of and not. So it's probably not good enough, but it's fun to try. I think I go try. Ah, excuse me. Okay, Hunting Voyage. 5 CMC. It's meant for like the really long games. Choose a creature. Like long games when you sideboard into like Araya Flame. Choose a creature type. Return up to 2 creatures from the type from your graveyard. Or 7 mana. Yeah, it's so much mana. 6 mana reanimate 2, and then 7 mana reanimate everything. Kraken. This card's awful. You have to have so much freaking snowlands. This card's pretty cool. 4 mana 3/3. Whenever Emerson Predator becomes tapped, exile up to 1 target card from a graveyard and put a +1/+1 counter on it. So exile Uro. Sacrifice another creature, gains indestructible. 4 mana is a lot. Like, and also like what shell you can use it where you have a bunch of creatures. Like with what's that hoe? Season Pyromancer. You get to exile the tokens. Gen Sack. Oh yeah, just Gen Sack. Put you to Horde again. The reason why it exiles Uro, which is a huge thing. Exiling Uro in black red. They give Cling, but it's probably too slow, but I do think it's interesting. It's such a greatness. I don't know about this card. I think this card's awful. You have to have perfect, or else you just like get nothing from it. It doesn't count itself, which is huge. Like that often sucks. It doesn't count itself. If it counted itself, card be freaking great. Um. So I play it. I have nothing else out. I can put a 1 CMC. It has to be 1 CMC for my hand. If I play a 3-drop, then I can hopefully have a 4-drop for the next end. So like, it's hard. You have to have exactly the requirement, or else you're just scrying 1. No, it does not count itself. If it counted itself, it'd be good. We'd be talking about it. You get 1 drops for free. Yeah, so it's you build around this, and you're hoping to like you're hoping. To, I don't even know. Wait, here's another problem. Is feel like it'd be super good. Here's another problem: is you don't get a choice. What I mean by that is if you have, like, say I have a 3 mana card in hand, but I have a 4 mana permanent on the battlefield, I can't even put the 3 mana card in my hand on the field. It has to be 5, right? And you have upkeep, you may cast a permanent spell from your hand with CMC equal to 1 plus the highest CMC among other permanents you control. So it has to be 5 CMC if I have a 4 out. I don't get the choice of putting in that 3. Like, that's the problem with this card, is it's so specific. And you don't get that versatility, and that's why I don't think it's that good. Yorn got a winter 3 mana. Whenever it attacks and tap each no permanent you control. Stone creature god. Meh. It was like maybe mono green, untap everything. It's hard to say. Probably not good. Oh, here's the flip side. These lined up. You may play targets no permanent from your graveyard this turn. If you do, it end a battlefield tapped. You can play lands from your graveyard with this. Is there any 0 mana snow permanents besides lands? Like trying to think of like Paradox Engine with this. Scourge 4 mana 4/3. Hogak is not snow. Whenever it enters the battlefield to your next turn, creature you control, your opponent's control, attack each time if able, and attack other player. It just costs too much. Okay, Kaya. Snowyak. Maybe One Horizon 2 it'll be Snowyak. Put a Ghost Form counter up to 1 target non-token creature. It gains whenever this dies or is put in exile, return to the battlefield and create a 1/1 spirit token with creature flying. Exile target non-land permanent. Okay, 5 mana, protect itself. 7 mana. You know, keep getting them at the beginning of your upkeep. You may cast a legendary card from your hand, from your graveyard, or from among cards you own in exile without paying it. So you can go infinite with Karn's Time Walk. It'd be fun jank to play. I don't think it'd work, but it'd be fun jank to play. Huh. We've played worse cards for 5 CNC is the thing. Each player mills 4 cards, then you may exile a creature or planeswalker card from each graveyard. Until in turn you may cast. What? It's too slow. Like, you don't get anything. You pay it, you have to pay more. Just too slow. Whenever non-token creature you control dies, if an enchanted equipped, return to its owner's hand. Creatures you control are equipped, get +1/+1. It doesn't. If it equipped a card, sure, but it does not. As long as you control 3 or more legendary creature, control gets +4/+2 in vigilance. For 4 mana, though, look at the top card. You reveal a legendary creature card among and put it in your hand. It's just too. It's not cost efficiency issue. This one's also just way too much mana. Magda. This one is interesting. I think this one could possibly see play. I don't know what you're cheating in, but I think it's very possible to get to 5 treasures building around it. Like, definitely in Pioneer, maybe not in Modern, but I think this card's sweet. I think it's such an awesome card that maybe you could somehow build around it. Pioneer for sure. I don't think in Modern. Convoke for Dwarves. Corvold. If you're doing all this, good Corvold. Yeah, Captain Lannery makes treasures. Is Captain Lannery a dwarf? I think he's a human captain, right? Other creature control get +1/+1 whenever land is battlefield vehicle 1/1. Okay, well, so expensive. Creature control every creature type for 4 mana. That's pretty awesome. Same is true for creature spells you control and creature cards you own that aren't in the battlefield. This works with didgeridoo. Create a 2/2 shapeshifter with changeling. I think it's cool. I'm sure there's some combo that'll like let you abuse everything being creature. It's just so expensive, but it's for like all those against the odds decks. Misgate Pathway. Marite of the Frost. You may have Marite of the Frost enter the battlefield as a copy of a permanent you control, except it's legendary and snow in addition to its other types. And if it's a creature as with 2 additional 1/1 counters on it as changeling, it's just a 5-mana copy that like gets little bonuses. This card is insane. This card is secretly like one of the GOAT cards of the set. So you go foretell it, and then you cast it, and then you cast Master Waves, and then you get a ton of power. So you cast Master Waves for 1. Gets blown out by removal. That's why it's pro red. Master Waves. You just like exponentially gain a bunch of Master Waves because it creates all the elementals. I think this card's freaking sweet. The next time one or more creatures or planeswalkers into the battlefield this turn, there's copies of the chosen creature. So it happens once. It's not infinite. So you have your Master Waves on the stack, and then you use the card. All the things come in, and they're copies of Master Waves, and that's it. And then they all make their own things. It stops. Yeah, here's a graph. So let me pull up this graph for you guys to see. If you have um one blue pip, you get like 38 power. If you have 2 blue pips, you get 98. 3, you get 202 power. So it goes up depending on the number of pips you have. So very strong card. Other snow and zombie creatures you control get +1. Yeah, the merfolk people have nothing else to do. Like they're not winning, so they might as well just go do graphs. Reanimate for 3. I think it's awesome. I don't think it's like it could see play. It's a 3-mana reanimate at 4/3, but you have to like not draw it and all these issues. Nico Aris. It's a lot of mana to do nothing. Creates shard tokens. They're enchantments with sack, pay 2, scry 1, and draw a card. Okay, I guess it's not the worst, but you don't get much from it. Up to +1, up to 1 target creature you control can't be blocked this turn. Whenever that creature does damage this turn, return to its owner's hand. What the freak? Nico Aris deals 2 damage to target tapped creature for each creature card you draw this turn. It's such a weird card. 3 mana. This card's great for Mono Green Stompy. When Old Girl Troll dies, if it was a creature returned to its battlefield, it's an or enchantment with Enchant Forest you control. Enchant Forest gains add 2 green and pay 1, sack this line, create a tap 4/4. So it's pretty good off of. So Master Waves of that card creates infinite trigger sack? No, it only happens one time. All right, it says the next time a creature would enter. So because they all enter at the same time, they all get transformed. Yeah, I did too. It's okay because I was like, "Isn't it infinite?" But then I didn't notice until right now when I read that clause. Orvor the All Form Changeling. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, if it targets one or more other permanents with you control, create a token that's a copy of one of those permanents. When a spell or ability an opponent controls called, you discard this card, create a token. It's called target permanent. That's pretty cool. It's like a mana card. If they make you like, I don't know. It's it's an interesting card. I like the discard clause. I think that I'm very for the discard clause. Power of Heroes is basically Pod. They printed Pod all over again. I think this card's fun, but like, where the F are you gonna play this card? You gotta play that freaking that shapeshifter card. This card is like pretty bad, but people will try to make it work. This card's a little bit pushed. Your opponent can't gain life, meaning your upkeep deals 2 damage to each opponent. This ability triggers only if Quake cards on the battlefield or if it's in your graveyard and you control a giant. So it's like you have freaking Stomp out, that giant, Bone Crusher giant out, and you have this in your graveyard, you just like burn them out. Definitely Pioneer playable. I don't know about Modern, but it's pretty awesome card. You just freaking get this damage dealt to them for having that giant. Rally the Ranks, 2 mana pump. It's a very strong card. They reduced the 3 mana freaking Anthem into 2 mana Anthem if you build around it. So throw it with humans, call it a day. Realm Walker. As it enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. You look at the top card of your library. You may cast top of your. This works great in Elves. I think it's great. You can Coco into it too. Yeah, I think this card's actually great. Yeah, 100%. Reckless Crew, create X 2/1 red dwarfs. X is the number of vehicles you control. Okay, awful. You say Pioneer, you mean Historic? Yeah, sure. Either or, they're interchangeable. As reflections of the Jara enter the battlefield, choose a creature type. Whenever you cast creatures, zones that copy that spell. Does this create any dumb combos out there? Can we get an asterisk on where you said Trials would be huge in Modern? You said they would only be Pioneer playable. This is an EDH dumb combo. Oh, I'm sure there's some dumb EDH thing with this. Radiant, God of the Worthy, Flying, Vigilance. This card's sick. Snowlands your opponent's control enters the battlefield tab. That's just an added bonus. Non-creature spells your opponent's control with CMC 4 greater cost 2 more to cast. For 3 mana, I think this like works out in freaking taxes. I think this is just a fine card. I can't remember what the backside is, but it's actually pretty decent. And it's a flying freaking Vigilance 2/3. Oh, is this the other side? Nope, it's not. 3 mana Rock, 8 more counters, move them all, creating the tokens. So it's like, it's just, we have a million of those. 3 mana Angel, when it dies, you make another card from your graveyard. When you put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control that share the type, it's 3 mana 3/3 flyer. Righteous Valkyrie, 3 mana 2/4 flyer. These things are getting so pushed now. Whenever another Angel or Cleric enters the battlefield under your control, you gain life. You get that creature's toughness. Oh. As long as you have 7 or more life, then your starting total creature you control get +2/+2. It has a good enough effect that bad decks will play this card. That's what I think of it. Create X 2/2 black zombie tongues or X number of non-tongue creatures that die this turn. What the heck? Wait, foretell for 1? What is it not? Huh. You know what? I'm not like Pioneer, freaking Historic, maybe. Like, it's pretty good against Wrath of Gods. That's a pretty good anti-Wrath. Whenever Runeforge champion enters the battlefield, you may search the library and graveyard for a rune card. What's a rune card? Reveal it and put into your hand. If you Choose your library this way. Shuffle it. You may pay 1 rather than pay the mana for cost for rune spells you cast. I don't know what a rune. What's a rune? It is gambling. I don't know what a rune is. Does anyone know what a rune is? Or is it like a future mechanic? Hogak is a rune. Crappy artifacts? Oh, okay. Uh, Whenever a permanent an opponent controls put in the graveyard from the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on Cheryl from Eater. Being able to keep if Cheryl has 1 or more, you remove it and exile each other non-land permanent. That's an interesting card. It like is almost playable. It works very well with like the Rock or maybe Jun. It's just expensive, but yeah, it's a walking pernicious. It just dies too easily. A tutor effect. It's just so if it was instant, maybe. Shut exile top 4 cards library until the end of your next turn. You may play those cards whenever you cast the spell. Put a +1 counter on target creature. Didn't they just ban this card? I mean, you don't get the ramp, but still. 3 mana flash. First strike, protection from god creatures. When Sigrid, God Favor, enters the battlefield, exile up to 1 target attacking or blocking creature until it leaves the battlefield. Ew. It just does. It's just like a 2/2. Scamfar Avenger. Whenever another non-token elf or berserker control dies, you may draw 1 card, lose 1 life. I'm okay with this. Like elves, black green elves, like getting a couple things that like help it, I think are very beneficial. So I'm a big fan of this card, even though it like seems simple, but it's just like a great card to have for elves for if something dies at 2 mana versus 3 mana. Starn Helm Unleashed. This card is you can get a 4 mana 4/4, or you can pay the miracle to make angels. So 3 mana, you get a 1, 5 mana, you get 2. Yeah, standard, sure. Eternal, it's kind of slow, but it's a blue white finisher. I mean, like, just play the freaking land. It's hard to say. Like, I don't know. It's weird. It could be really good, but I'm not sure about it because it's expensive. So, mana, as it just costs a reveal giant from your hand or pay 2. What? Whenever certain land elemental attacks, you may cast instant or sorcery spell from your hand without paying its mana cost. It's 7 mana. Whenever a certain land flinger attacks, you may sack another creature. When you do, deals damage. So it's a fling. You can just if a sacrifice creature was giant, deal double. I mean, it's too expensive, but it's a cool card. Limited bomb. Okay, yeah, very true. 3 mana, make a monolith. Thanks for math and life advice. Anytime, I'm a math expert. Look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may cast a spell from among them without paying its mana cost. 8 mana. Wow, that's actually not bad. That's another good limited card. My goodness. And this is the flip side of the 4 mana god that it equips on combat. Equip triggers +2/+7 vigilance. Whenever a creature dies, return it to its owner's hand. Bomb limited card. Freaking bomb limited card. I love this card. I think this card's awesome. It's like it's too expensive that it's like to see play, but it's like it's gonna see play because it's so awesome. When our opponent sacrifices a non-token permanent or discards a permanent card, you may put on the card from the battlefield or graveyard of the battlefield. So you just play this, Burning Inquiry, and you freaking go off. I freaking love it. Or yeah, Jun Sack. I love this card. And then the flip side, target player loses 3 life unless they sack non-permanent discard a card. Untap, triggers Lantern. 3 mana. Create a 2/2 blue shapeshifter creature token with changeling. Any number of target shapeshifter creature control have base power 4, so it makes them 4/4 return. Choose up to 1 target creature or planeswalker. Each creature with power 4 or greater you control deals damage equals power to that permanent. Wait. Does it change them permanently? Yeah, because it's not telling them to turn, so it changes them to 4/4s. 3 mana, create a 2/3 demon berserker creature token with menace. Whenever a berserker attacks this turn, you draw a card and you lose 1 life. So there's a lot of berserkers, but yeah, like limited bomb. But oh, this is the flip of the blue god that I really liked actually. Whenever a vehicle you control deals combat damage to a player, that player exiles that many cards from the top of the library. You may play lands among those cards as long as they remain exiled. Crew 1. So the new Smuggler's Copter, it's in blue, good stats, helps you hit your land drops. I think I think both these I think it'll see play. 100% see play. No evasion. I don't know. I'm a big fan. I love this card. And here's the flip of the other card that I loved. At the beginning of Upkeep, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a creature or planeswalker card. Put that card on the battlefield and the rest. So you play this in Mizzet, you bring to light for the God 3-drop, and then you cast a Prismatic Bridge. Big fan, big fan. The Raven's Warning, create a 1/1 bird, you get 2 life. Whenever one or more creatures you control flying deal combat damage to a player, this turn look at that player's hand, draw a card. That's a pretty cool effect. Wait, oh, it's any creature deals damage. Oh, it has to be with flying. You may put a card you own from outside the game on top of your library. Excuse me? That's a pretty cool tutor. Yeah, like throw in Yarn. Like, oh yeah, this card's sweet. Throw in Yorion. The 2-mana artifact. It's a flip of the. I can't remember what the 4-mana god was. Add green. So this mana only cast creatures of the chosen type. It's kind of a ramp. Pretty decent. Outside the game also meaning foretold? No. Outside the game has to be sideboard. They changed the ruling. Uh, the World Tree. Enters tap. You can sack any number of guard cards on the battlefield. What card cards do you get? Throne of Death, being upkeep, mill a card, exile creature card from your graveyard, draw a card. It's the flip side of the 6/6 Death Toucher, so it's like kind of playable. Tibalt. This is the backside of the 2-mana freaking creature. You can cascade into this. You can bring to light into this. So it's more like a 5-mana planeswalker in a way. You can also Electro Dominance, I believe, into this. I'm not 100% about that. Joel, do you know if that's possible or not? Electro Dominance to the creature where you cast this side. I'm not 100%. Maybe it doesn't work like that. Um, the thing is, it goes up very fast. It goes to 7 loyalty and just keep going up, and you're able to hit your land drops, and it it's like they know that you're gonna be able to do this, but I think they're right on like the power level of it. But yeah, Tibalt's Trickery, uh, counter and then flip until you hit another card to cast. It's a counter spell in red. If you need protection against Wrath of God, it'll change the rules. Maybe I don't think it's that good of a card that it like needs the rules to be changed. Like if you hit it, it's like okay, whatever. It's not horrendous, I guess. Um, this card, Tibalt's Trickery, I think it's a niche card. You can't see play. It casts Emrakul's. Hopefully, it's it's like something you can do, I guess. Tarolf, God of Fury, Trample. Whenever a creature, planeswalker, an opponent controls is dealt excess non-combat damage, Tarolf deals damage equal to excess to any target other than that permanent. It's just an expensive card is the issue. If you cascade into turn 3 into Planeswalker cost 7, it's pretty good. Yeah, but like you have to pray that you hit that. Like you have your what, like 1 in 20 chance. They're not gonna change the rule over a 1 in 20 chance, and like it's so. Then the flip side of it, Charles Hammer, equipped creature has uh 2 unattached It deals 3 to any target. What the heck? What a weird different card. So much mana has to be pumped into it. Whenever creature control does combat, this card is interesting as well. I don't know if it's like playable, but it can't be counter indestructible and lets you draw cards. This one's just too expensive. Pay 2, target legendary creature becomes a god in addition to its other types, put a counter on it. Okay. Pay 4, sack, put an indestructible counter on target god. That's a pretty awesome card. That's pretty good for a land. Just give a god indestructible. Elves control, tap, add black, put a +1 counter on to 1 target elf on tap against death touch on turns, like whatever. Create a 1/1 elf. You get an emblem whenever you cast an elf spell, it gains haste on the turn, you draw 2 cards. I don't think it works, but it's alright. You know? And this is the front side of Tibalt. That's pretty cool. That's Tibalt under the thingy. When it enters battlefield, exile target Uro from opponent's hand, then pay 3, become Uro, and swing. I think that's what this card reads. But yeah, this is the one you can like. I think the front side's like good enough. That's why it's fine to be played. You know, you just exile Uro, become Uro, and then you can bring play into it. Funny joke. It's the truth. It's not even a joke. It's like it's what's gonna happen. The shield. It can be your own same play, yes, because it's becoming a copy of it. The ETB trigger is not happening, so at least it's not. I'm pretty sure it's not exile. Let me read. CMC. Yeah. It just becomes it. Doesn't exile and come back. 4 mana. If a source an opponent controls would deal damage to your permanent, deal 1 less. Whenever you or another permanent you control becomes target of a spell or ability, and opponent controls count that. That's not bad. It's a okay thing on the back of the god. Because have its like place. Like your Harbinger, flying lifelink at the beginning of each end step. If you gain 4 more life, turn create a. It's just 6 mana. It's too expensive. 3 mana. Death touch. 2/3. Bows target or searches their library for a card in the shuffle library. But wait. Oh, that's pretty cool. It's probably too slow, but like, I like it. Tutor put something on top. It's a bomb and limited. Whenever you cast a spell from your hand, anywhere other than your hand, draw a card. Oh wait, it's also a rogue? Okay, it's also a rogue, so like that's phenomenal. A bit slow though. I mean, rogue games go long. Rogue games go really, really long. Excuse me. Whenever you got a spell from anywhere other than your hand, draw a card. Cast arrow, draw 2. Oh boy, thank goodness they put the game of the English one. Trample, haste, doubling season, and then if an opponent would put 1 or more counters on a permanent or player that puts half. It's just so expensive, but it's EDH gold. Waking the trolls to target land 6 mana. This card is an awesome card. The big thing is you stop Word of Invention. You stop artifacts from entering, which is huge. Non-land permanent card. Oh, I guess Work Like just busted with this, huh? Non-land permanent cards in graveyards and libraries can't enter the battlefield. Players can't cast spells from graveyards to libraries. Yeah. It definitely will see play. It's like a mix of both. And that's it. We made it all the way through. Thank you for watching the set review. Hope you guys have a wonderful day.